俺誓ったのにな。魔法使いになれたらきっと誰か救って。
Again, this is the element that I appreciate for watching both shows, is that this is information I don't get from the other one. And I got information from the other one I didn't get for this. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we're back with the new overlay, because I assume we used the old one last time, and had to set up this one. Once again, I want to thank David Butt for sponsoring these. I should also preface ahead of time that I have also clearly been watching Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, and I'm ahead of this, so I'm going to try and let Lessons do the lion's share of noticing stuff, in the off chance that I actually do remember something that's a crossover between the two, because I'm unaware of where the differences will lie. Because like I was doing some of my Unlimited Blade Works stuff, and noticing that questions that I had asked when writing my notes for this show had already been answered for that one. So it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to kind of forget that when it comes back to this. I'm not editing my old notes. So, and that's also got to be a sort of a thing, is that right after we get done recording this, I'm going to have to take notes on this one so that I can get the board updated for the next time that I record Unlimited Blade Works. So, puts me on a clock.
Well, talking about notes, well, first we have the board. Let's get ahead of ourselves, although I just did.
Alright, well, when it comes to the board, I have the board changelog. Obviously, Lessons only really pay attention to the bottom left-hand side, where I have added Saber, Gilgamesh, Kiri, Rin, Archer, Shiru, Sakura, Taiga, Old Man Fujimura, Issei, Gato, Soichiro, Ayako, Lancer, and Ilya. I connected Saber and Gilgamesh with a red line. I connected Archer and Rin together with a green line. I connected Kiritsugu to Shiro with a blue line. I connected Shiro to Sakura and Ayako with a green line, and with a purple arrow coming from her to him. I marked Kiritsugu as dead. I connected Old Man Fujimura to Kiritsugu and Shiro with a green line, and to Taiga with a blue line. I connected Taiga to Shiro and Sakura with a green line, and added a blue arrow from Taiga to Shiro due to her promise to Kiritsugu to be there for him like a mother. I connected Taiga to Kiritsugu and Tsuruchi, sorry, choking there a bit. Soichiro with a green line, Gato with a white line. Connected Issei to Shiro with a green line, and to Rin with a white line. Connected Shiro to Rin with a white line. Connected Ayako to Koto with a green line. Assumption for now, based on the fact that they are both archery club members. And connected Ilya to Shiro with a blue line.
Yeah. For her warning across the street, yeah. Yes.
Well, no, I didn't. What? Your interpretation, that your interpretation of what the board is doesn't make any sense. Yes, that's right. I gave her a blue line for her warning across the street.
Oh, that's
blue line means family. Blue line doesn't mean allies.
But Shiryu and...
Yeah, Shiro and Ilya are in fact family members.
How? He survived the explosion.
Shiro is whose son?
Well, yeah, adopted.
Are you putting out there, Lessons, that you do not believe that adopted children are the children of those parents?
Well, yeah, okay, they're siblings in that sense. I forgot about that, yeah.
That's a pretty harsh statement to be throwing out there, Lessons.
Yeah, no, I forgot. And I was like, well, they're not blood relatives, what the fuck? But then again, Matu is supposed to be Fujimura's granddaughter, but doesn't have his last name.
I'm thrown by the fact that you said Matao.
Matao, yeah.
Yeah, and that refers to everyone in the Matao family. So you just referred to the entire family and didn't say a specific person. So I don't know who you're referring to.
Oh, okay. Oh, never mind. I'm confusing the old man Fujimura with old man Matao.
Well, we never called him Old Man Matao. He's been
Yeah, no.
not Zygon. Is he Zygon? Sorry, I'm forgetting because I'm not actively looking at the board. I'm looking at my notepad.
Yeah, no, he's
The
not the same
vampire.
guy.
We've called him the vampire. We haven't called him. Oh, I think I know why you're confused. You're confused because I thought that might have been like the new art style for him before we found out that he is Taiga's grandpa, I think. Either Taiga's grandpa or Taiga's dad, I can't remember.
And a Yakuza boss, but yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay, those one makes sense. So let's go into notes. I do not have a lot of notes. I suspect that in spite of everything, or just because you have watched more of this than I,
Well,
you have more notes than I do, but
I think I'm trying to remember at the time of recording, not the last episode, I mean, because I essentially did this the day after the first episode. I may have only seen the prologue to Fate's Day Night Unlimited Blade Works. So my notes come from a position of before I'd seen episode 1 of Unlimited Blade Works, and at the moment I'm at sometime during this week going to be recording episode 3 of Unlimited Blade Works. So, and not for nothing, the first 2 episodes, or I should say the special in the first episode, are like almost an hour long. So I've effectively seen, if you think about it, like 5 episodes worth of Unlimited Blade Works.
Okay, fair enough. Still, I don't have that many notes, and though there was quite a bit that we covered in that episode. But my notes are mostly two or more lines or very long sentences. So hopefully they have some substance. Fate's Day Night, episode 1, the first day. Right off the bat, we see a difference between Fate's Day Night and Fate Zero. The destruction of the city occurs due to a battle between Artoria and Gilgamesh in Fate's Day Night, instead of the destruction of the Grail in Fate Zero.
Hold on here.
Unless that battle happened after we're done with Fate Zero, but still supposed to be in Fate Zero.
I guess I should read my first note in commentary to yours. At the start of the episode, you were commenting that Saber and Archer didn't fight at the end of Fate Zero. Technically they do, but it doesn't look like what we saw here. Here they were fighting in the flames of the town caught on fire. In Fate Zero, they were inside the theater. Here they are clashing blades and running all over. In Fate Zero, Archer is telling Saber his demands and using his noble phantasm to launch blades at her from the stage. As you know, then Kiritsugu then shows up and orders her to destroy the Grail, using her noble phantasm, which she does, assumedly Archer getting caught in the blast. Either way, they fought what could easily be called a meaningless fight, so whatever interpretational differences we see between episodes 1 and here, and then in episode 24, it doesn't really make much of a difference. Not unless they add more depth to the events in this series to make it actually matter. I mean, hell, who actually told the story to anyone? The only people that knew what happened, that were still around afterwards, were Kiritsugu, Kiri, and Gilgamesh. Entirely a survivors tell the tale situation. In which case, this might be the artist's interpretation versus the reality that we know.
Or they could, it could all literally be a reinterpretation of what, because this came chronologically speaking, but, release order wise, first the game, then this, and then other things. So they could have in Fate Zero, they reinterpreted that battle as the thing happened in the theater, but the battle still happened. So,
well, I know I started my ass through my own note, but I'm saying that's what I'm saying. That it doesn't matter because it was a fight that happened, and that's just 2 different interpretations of the fight.
My second note. Interesting that the first Magi we see is Rin, when the episode spends most of the time with another character entirely, with only glimpses of Rin actions in the background.
Well, I mean, as I mentioned before, that's one of the few things I'm going to bring up from the other stuff, is this thing that I already brought up before last time, is that Unlimited Blade Works focused more on Rin, so I got to see her throughout her day with, this guy showing up sometimes. Fate Zero takes place in 1994. Fate Stay Night is 10 years later, so 2004. The first game was released in 2004, so there we go.
Interesting that the anime. Well, not interesting if it's a big enough company they could have commissioned the anime alongside to resell the game to support both of them. So yeah, like the anime, you play the game. You like to play the game, you watch the anime. A veritable multimedia or varied media, because not all, well, more than one, I suppose. So multimedia does apply. Release probably also with a manga as well, or light novel, or novels to go with it. It's the 2000s. Everything was supposed to be multimedia. Shiro fell in with the wrong crowd if Fate series to believe. We know that Fujimura is a real, well, no, this was a mistake because I thought Fujimura was someone else. Now, the way we see Fujimura is still very sus, but real piece of shit, and his granddaughter is well messed up. Turns out that, of course, that's not his granddaughter. That's Masu? What's the name of it? Matao's granddaughter.
I would suggest...
Who's also a piece of shit.
I would suggest very strongly that you not call her Matao.
Why not?
Because it's going to get very confusing. For reasons I will not say, but if you were to refer to her as Matao all the time, I'm not going to know who the fuck you're talking about. And I'm going to suggest that possibly
Sakura.
The audience will not know who you're talking about.
Well, I say Matao because that's a connection with her grandfather, I guess. Yeah, she calls him
The
grandfather.
vampire. Again, his name starts with a Z, and I can't remember for some reason.
Yeah,
I'll call him
Sakura.
Zygon.
With Sakura, who is also a real person of work for reasons we saw in Zero.
You're saying that. She was perfectly nice and amiable here. She's making him food. She's taking care of 2 people.
Yeah, well, that doesn't mean it's going to last.
But yeah, you're talking about the family connection between
that,
Fujimura and Taiga, which is unrelated completely to what you're talking about.
Yeah, no. I thought Fujimura was someone else, but clearly he wasn't.
So as we've seen, unless it's Zygon is going by a different name, who the hell knows? Alright, here's a longer one to compare 2 different things. So I mentioned that the incantations that Rin uses on Unlimited Bladeworks and Fate Stay Night were different enough to tell me how the characters might themselves be different. Well, here they are. This is the one you've heard, the Fate Stay Night one. Hear me, place thy flesh under my command. My fate I place in thy sword. On the authority of the Holy Grail, and thou comply to my will and my reasoning, answer my call. Here and now I offer up my pledge. I am she who embodies the virtues of all creation. I am she who shall spread the evil of all creation. Thou art the 7 heavens clad in 3 great word spirits. Come forth from this binding circle, thou keeper of the balance. And again, I think the biggest change there is, I am she who spread the evil of all creation. Because here's what she says in Unlimited Bladeworks. For the essence, silver and steel. For the foundation, gems and the Archduke of Contracts. For the ancestor, my great master, Schweinorg. Close the cardinal gates, be bound to the circle, and follow the 3 columns of the Sephiroth to descend from the crown of the kingship. Fill and lock, fill and lock, fill and lock, fill and lock, fill and lock. Repeat 5 times. It's weird that it repeats it 5 times and then says repeat 5 times as though they were reading a thing and didn't know what to say. But those moments should cease to be once past. Set. I hereby propose, your fealty shall be mine, and my fate shall be yours. If you heed the Grail's call and obey my will and reason, then answer me. I hereby swear that I shall be all the good in the world, that I shall repress all the evil in the world. One of the 7 heavenly beings, bearing the 3 great words of power, come forth from the cycle that shackles you, guardian of the scales. Again,
the focus between one being the evil of the world, the good of the world. I guess Ren is more of the hero in Bladeworks, therefore that's why she represents the good.
I will say, so far, now that I've gone past the prologue, not been the focused character as much, so... But yeah, in Fate Stay Night DOG, I am she who should spread the evil of all creation, versus I hereby swear that I shall be all the good in the world, and I shall repress all the evil in the world. Big difference.
Yeah. My next note. At least on the surface, Fate Stay Night has a lighter tone than Zero. I doubt it will stay that way for long.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Certain characters are definitely lighter.
No. At least on the surface.
I mean, the thing is that we get the character motivations in Fate Zero pretty early because they're all about to summon everything, like, immediately. So,
Yeah.
and everybody knows what they're doing. When we found out that Kiritsugu had died, and I was surprised, we had a disagreement about him saying that he was dying in the final episode of Fate Zero in the 5 years later segment. Well, I went back to check, since I'm now 3 shows deep into Fate, might be something worth me knowing. And I was right. He doesn't mention anything about dying. They just have a conversation about him being too old to be the champion of justice that he wanted to be as a kid, and Shiro taking over that journey for him. He does say, I can be at peace now, when Shiro says that he can dream now, but without finding out that he died after the fact, I think it's completely pessimistic to interpret that as, I'm dying. That's the kind of shit you hear in My Hero Academia when one hero retires and a new hero takes their place. It doesn't automatically mean someone's dying. Despite that, this show implies he died not long after, so clearly it was the impression you were supposed to take away. So, I'm going to call 50-50 on this. They didn't say it outright, but he did die. So facts are facts.
Okay. I can live with that.
You sure you can't be at peace with it?
No. I just accept it as is. My next note. And right on cue, gas leaks across the new city. Light and fluffy is not on the cards for this anime.
Say what?
Which people are
I think I misheard something you said at the very beginning of your note.
And right on cue, gas leaks across the new city. Because the new city is the place to...
For some reason, I heard something like, and death leaps across the city or something. Like, what are we talking about?
Oh, I mean, this is Fate Night. They do leap across buildings from place to place.
Yeah, but nobody's done that yet. I don't think. No, I don't think. No, sorry. The element of I'm trying to segregate information I have from one show to the other. Nobody's
we see
done
some
that.
people leaping it later on.
I'm talking about the opening of the show.
No, later on in the episode, we see someone also doing that as well.
No, if you're talking about what I think you're talking about.
And it's not Rin, and what's his name?
Yeah, no, I get that. But, I mean, if you're talking about what I think you're talking about, because, again, if you're not, and I'm about to spoil something, I'm not trying to give that information. Yeah, I'm not counting that as the thing.
Yeah. She jumps on a rooftop, and then she goes to the side of the building, and then just disappears, has a lot of hair. Looks like the opening, but actually does happen in the episode briefly. The closing of the episode, close to the closing of the episode.
I think you're just thinking about the opening of the episode, but I'm not prepared to argue it because, again, I have volatile information which cannot be used to spoil. So, again, I'm not like trying to hold that over here. I'm just trying to say that I don't want to spoil you. So, information that I have that I think might be contrary to your information, but is only supported by the other show, I don't want to throw out. At the end of last episode, I said I was confused why they all lived together. I think I was thrown off by the start of the episode when Shiro is asleep and Sakura wakes him up, saying she to do all of the housework and that Miss Fujimura would be there soon. Just had the vibe of a group that lives together, and I carried on that thought throughout the entire episode.
No, they leave at the end of the episode, Tiger.
You don't have to correct me, Lessons. I literally just said... It's like you didn't pay attention to the beginning part of my comment where I said, this is why I thought they lived together. You know, that's past tense, right? Meaning that I obviously do not think that now. And of course, after 3 episodes of, again, Unlimited Blade Works, I don't think it currently either.
My next note is pretty short, and I'm running out of notes here. That has to be the ugliest Tonka Truck City bus in all of anime.
I would argue that the ugliest Tonka Truck City bus in all of anime would be the one you get hit by.
Yeah, they usually are very crappy CGI, and this was slightly before.
Well, I mean, more so the element that it probably looks like something that happens in Maximum Overdrive at that point.
Yeah.
Coated with brains and blood. So we saw at the end of Fate Zero this place that Shiro now lives in Sorry, sometimes when you misplace the word in with the word is, Shiro now lives in is getting, well, I guess repaired. I would have thought it was being built, but Shiro says it's an old samurai compound, so more likely he got cheap real estate and fixed it up. He also says that the complicated stuff was handled by a friend of his dad's, Old Man Fujimura, who I don't believe we've ever met in Fate Zero, but we do know that last name already. It's the teacher's last name, which explains why she is looking over him. It is her grandfather. Oh, there we go. My own note explained to me what I'd forgotten. I believe I mistook him to be the Matau Elder when he popped up on screen, so clearly you were right about him being not. Ironic that you then confused him later to be the Matau Elder.
Yeah.
In my defense, he's got the blank eyes of that guy, so wouldn't be surprised if he turns out to be a vampire too. It's either that or he's just blind old man, which is another common trope.
Yakuza was. I mean, you mentioned something about property values. And this is something out of memory, I do believe that in Japan, it's one of the few places where houses lose their value over time as opposed to gain more value. The land is one thing, but the house itself loses value.
I mean, I already told
which
you about
means-
this Canadian people that I used to watch on YouTube,
Yeah.
Far From Subtle, actively moved to Japan because of how much cheaper housing is.
So, because it does decay very quickly, and especially if it's old style. I mean, if it's an old style samurai compound, the land itself is very expensive because it takes quite a bit of area. And I think that's why, say, Yakuza would be interested in maintaining the area clear, because you might want to make an offer that Shiru can resist later on, right? I help him out, I put money in there, and
Oh,
then
no. Yeah, that wrong. It's Kiritsugu, not Shiro.
no, well, Shiro's in the
Kiritsugu is
Inheritor.
the one who got the compound and the land, dealing with Fujimura. Yeah, so you're saying that he made the deal with Shiro. No, he didn't make the deal with Shiro. He made the deal with Kiritsugu, which is now carrying on to Shiro.
But eventually, but why would be Fujimura's interest in it is because it's very valuable land.
Right, that's not what I'm correcting. I'm correcting the Shiro element of your statement.
Well, now it belongs to Shiro, so you know.
Well, assumedly, it still belongs to Fujimura. It's being leased to Shiro. If it wasn't being leased, there would be no connection to Fujimura anymore. He would be out of the picture.
Yeah.
But the element, no, and very specifically, I believe Taiga calls herself the landlady, so it might just be a rental. Hiratsuga may have made a deal to fix it up for cheaper rent,
Yeah, probably.
or act as a super or whatever.
My next notes.
What? I don't get one now.
I thought that was your note.
Oh, sorry, you reacted to it in such. I thought you read something. Anyway, well, whatever.
Oh.
No, go ahead.
I read about the Tonka truck, and then you came up with the Shiru.
Yeah, my next note. But then your anecdote about housing prices felt like it was pre-written, so I'm just like,
No,
I reacted as though it was a written note.
I should have put that as a note, but I didn't think about it, so there you go. I guess the setup is that Shiru is a good kick. I don't know why I put kick. A good kid. Jesus Christ. Surrounded by horrible people willing to do whatever it takes to get what they want. Either the enemy will make him win, quote, win, unquote, as it triumphs over evil and cynicism, or he will learn the hard lesson and become a cynic, in the end discarding his beliefs belief due to a faithless humanity. Not in a faithless, due to.
Man, I was taking notes on Nausea the other day because Nausea, the new episode, came out, and I swear to God, it was worse than like just one word typos. Like entire sentences were just bad, and I'm like starting to read and then winging it after that based on what I think I must have meant. I told you I was out of it yesterday. Well, thankfully I wrote these notes like a month ago. So,
what's your reaction to my note? What do you think?
I can't say.
Oh, because
you're proposing what might happen in the future, and although I don't know what will happen, because obviously, what would be the point of watching any of this if I already knew it? But I have a I can see the horizon better than you can, let's say, is probably the best analogy there. And at the very least, being, say, 3 episodes in, 3 episodes, I would say, is typically the setup that you would get, okay, this is what this anime is going to be about. Whereas you and I here are in the first episode, so that would be a huge thing to just let you in on what I know from another thing.
Okay.
Yeah, my hands are tied on this one. That's, again, another reason why I wrote this before I started engaging in more of the Unlimited Blade work. So these are my thoughts literally right after we got done watching the episode. Shiro knows Sakura from a guy at school, who he says is her older brother. Considering we knew the Mataus back in Fate Zero and were never shown any other family members, that's either a made-up backstory or a change from there to here.
Could be a family retainer of some sort.
Well, unfortunately, Lessons, you might not remember this, but I think I'm going to have to play my hand here. I may have already spoiled that.
Yeah.
When I said,
don't
refer, I told you before when you kept talking about Sakura, don't refer to her as Matau. That will be very confusing, and no one will know who you're talking about. So, I corrected you back then, 10 minutes ago, and this note should have clued you in on why that would be.
And my last note. And of course, at some point, Shiro will discover that his old man wasn't as heroic as he think he was. Well, he was a hero to him, but to the rest of the world, it had a deeper. He had deeper shades of gray.
I don't think so. I mean, the element of I don't think he'll find out, but I mean, maybe that could be like a psychological element because there's 2 people wandering around in the show that we know were from back then who could use that against him. I don't know if they would, but more so the element that this show seems to be repainting Kiritsugu as a hero.
Or he could have been a hero, and Fate Zero repainted him as a more dubious character.
Well, I mean, we know him more as a mercenary who will do anything to get a job done versus what we're getting exposed to here. Like, they're not going into specifics here yet, or if they will at all. But again, he seems to have more of a hero thing going on. But again, that could also just be the element of I'm the adopted kid, so this is how I'm looking at him versus this is what I actually know.
Which is what I was pointing out at the notes, yes.
Well, no, you were pointing out about him finding out the real Kiritsugo in the future. I'm just indicating towards the element of that this might just be.
Because like I said,
I was going to say early onset hero worship, and I don't think that's it either.
Yeah, like I said, well, he was a hero to him, to Shiro. You know, the father figure that rescued him out of the, rubble and all that, and took care of him and raised him until he died. But to the rest of the world, at least to other characters, when I say the rest of the world, I should say other characters who may know the truth.
Which is 2.
He was, at least 2. It could be more. I mean, Matao is still around as well. If he's around, then
you're mixing up 2 characters then, because there's no reason Matao would even know who Kiritsugo is, other than the fact he was in the Grail War. But no, you're mixing up. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
The priest, which I think
you're right,
was
but no, the other guy who was who basically sold himself over to the Matao guy to try and save Sakura.
Yeah,
those are the 2 guys mainly involved. Well, I keep wanting to call him Zygon. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but. Those are him. Yeah, Kiritsugu never messed with him.
Yeah.
And we have never seen a scene with them together. There was never any, I understand that you only got, from episode 12 onwards, and the remix that we watched didn't involve any of that either. They were never involved whatsoever. Kiritsugu never went after the Mataus. The Mataus never interacted with Kiritsugu. Ilya and Saber never interacted with them at all.
Well, there's another person. You corrected me earlier about them. His adopted half-sister? She knew him.
I'm going to say that you're wrong. Also, that's not... You have clearly already forgotten who I mentioned, but that's fine. It's better for you not to remember, and hopefully the show expose you to it. But no, that's not a thing either. I'll say this. I also don't know what's going on with that yet. To my knowledge from the other side, I also don't know what's going on there, but they're not in Fate Zero.
Isn't she supposed to be the Grail?
Who are you talking? Sorry, you were talking lessons. No,
I'm talking about
Stop. I'm going to say you're being confusing because we're talking about two different families, and the same thing where you're saying Sakura and Matao and you're just using her last name.
Sakura.
You do not clarify which family you're talking about. So when you're talking about the Mataos, I just automatically believe that you're talking about the Mataos still. Obviously,
No.
now you're regarding the Einsburns, who, again, we've not mentioned since an Ilya comment way back up on the board.
Yeah, well, now mentioning them, you corrected me that Ilya and Shiro are siblings by adoption.
Yeah, but you can understand how that's a giant conversational hurdle that you did not put anything there for me to understand what's happening.
Anyway, let me finish my thought there. She certainly knows about her father and the whole thing. In fact, she probably knows more about anything than anyone, according to Zero, being, the vessel. And so she could tell him.
Sorry, I went to interrupt you, and then it's like, nah, I'll just keep living you. But I can make all the facial features I want, same as you do when I'm talking. No, there's no reason why you'd believe that she knows everything that's going on. She's been stuck in Germany this whole time behind a barrier Kiritsugu himself couldn't even penetrate. How would she even know anything about the Grail War beyond the dream that she had about being the Grail and having 7, protrusions coming out of her? That's the only thing we've ever gotten from her. And she didn't know what her dad did. Her dad never talked to her about that shit. He just said, Daddy's going to have to go away, and he's going to come back later. And she's like, okay, Daddy, and then we'll play again. And that was it.
A lot of things could have happened in 10 years, but we haven't gotten there yet.
Right, but I'm saying all you're saying is speculation, and you're speculating as though it's true. We haven't seen Ilya since...
I'm not speculating. I'm theory crafting.
I would say you're theorizing, but whatever. Theory crafting is typically for games. Yeah, but I'm saying it. You're saying that it's true, and I would say that it's, if it is information she has, we have no source for it. She's been trapped in Germany since the beginning of the Grail War to the end of that Grail War, and then she just shows up here.
Clearly, she has a way out.
Well, I don't know if it was she didn't have a way out. It was clearly implied by Kiritsugu that he had no way in. And he blamed someone for that, but it was a name that we'd never encountered before in the entirety of the show.
Well, those were my notes.
So apparently Rin is the idol of the school that has no enemies and all the boys want to be with, except Issei, who doesn't like her.
That might be Is he too? Maybe he's also a magi himself, and that's why he can sense something about her.
No comment?
Okay.
I mean, I would say I have spent maybe a couple of more minutes. Well, no, I've spent maybe 3 times as much time with him as you have. That's it. So, I have thoughts about him in my notes in Unlimited Blade Works. How did Taiga leave the house first, but Shiro and Sakura got to school ahead of her? Plus, are in class and interacting with everyone before she arrives.
I mean, she could have gone to the teachers' lounge. She had exams to grade, so.
I want to remember. I want to remember. I do want to remember. That's a fact. But I also want you to remember the element that I wrote these literally just after we watched the episode. I will say, keep that in mind. Rin says that the caster class is the only servant that has the ability to detect enemies at long distance. I guess things have changed over the last 10 years. That or the people we were following back then had trained more for this stuff, as we know that they were keeping tabs by familiars and the like. Also, not going to spoil anything, but Unlimited Blade Works, that also seems to be untrue. Or just different.
Since I don't have a source of comparison with Blade Works, I can't really comment. I mean,
you can't comment on that fast part, but you can compare to Fate Zero.
He can see things at long distances, but that's about it. So maybe that's what they were referring to. But
who are you talking about? Be more Caster, specific. Caster. Yeah, no.
Caster says, "Oh, I can't see something, but I can see the rivets on the bridge from here."
That's not Caster.
whoever happens to be with Bryn, we don't know who the name is.
That's literally Archer. They call him Archer.
Archer, yeah. Caster is different. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Rin says the caster class is the only servant with the ability to detect enemies at long distance. That was the whole point of this note. So you thought caster was Archer, or you thought Archer was caster, then that kind of really ruins the note.
Yeah.
Or your understanding of it, rather.
Yeah. So she said caster is the only one who can magically detect other
Again,
people, I guess.
We know Waver was keeping track of assassin previously by familiars, and even when the Gilgamesh assassin fight was happening, I believe they said that there was familiars all over the place watching that.
I guess that's not right. Semantics.
The problem herein, though, is that this is the original show, so this original show should be setting up the rules that the other shows follow. But it seems to be like teleporters can't teleport through shields. Sometimes that's true.
Yeah.
Issei is going to inherit the family temple. Really pushed hard to get that out there. But using food blandness as a way to segue into it conversationally, all for us to know it. So clearly it's something we're supposed to know ahead of time.
We'll see what happens with that, because what is the value of the temple in the Grail War? I don't know.
Well, I mean, you can have some conjecture about it, like the element that the church runs the Grail War.
Yeah, but they don't run it from a temple. They
run it from a church.
Yeah.
So why would a guy running a temple be an important plot point?
They have their own source of magic, I guess? I don't know.
Okay. If you want to know more, see my reaction. I don't know. I just have more notes about it in Unlimited Blade Works, and I can't transfer notes from here to here. So, in Issei's sepia-toned description of what happened in Chome, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Chome, there was an outline of a body on a wall with a massive blood splatter and a clear stab wound into the concrete where the chest was, plus a pretty strong impact and blood stain where the head was. There were other blood splatters, but mostly the room seemed pretty clean around the other outlines. As Issei says, it was a family of 4. Though I will say we only saw 3 outlines, so it seems to me, if I had to guess, servants get summoned by a disgruntled family member. They then use the servant to kill the nearest 2 members of the family, then, just to guess, really take it out on the dad. So not gonna be surprised if we encounter someone whose family was killed that then turns out to be a master. Also, he says it was done by a Japanese sword, so not saber, or a spear-like weapon, so maybe lancer? Then again, a later flash seems to show someone killed by a sword and a skeleton-looking creature standing over them, so maybe a caster with a summon? If casters are all the same, then killing a family would fit the MO.
Yeah, I mean, it could literally be what I think I said this in the show when we watched it, that they're eliminating the opposition before they start summoning their summons, which would fit what Ilya said. You better summon, get to a summoner before you get killed.
Well, I think you misread what I was getting at, because I also highly doubt that that's what's happening. I don't think we would start the show missing a bunch of characters, even considering that this is the first show.
It could be other characters have to take care of. I mean, we've seen that it can get transferred to other characters. So, it might be that they're paring down the number. And this show, we won't get, as many as we did in the last time.
Again, this is the first show lessons. That's why I'm saying that I don't think that would happen. I don't think you would start off the first show with a subversion.
Or it could be a mad clown scenario like in the first show where you have a guy who's just obsessed with killing people.
It's literally what I just ended the note on. Yeah. I just said if casters are all the same, then killing a family would fit the MO. I will say, as an element of one show for the other, something I will bring up here is that in Unlimited Blade Works, it's not an outline on the blood. Not an outline on the wall with no blood anywhere. there's a fucking dead body there. There's blood all over the place. There's bodies all over the floor. It's like, huh, that's weird that they didn't show the dead body here, but, dead bodies over there. And it's exactly the same scene, just with, like, this is the PG version, and that's the R version.
Or PG-13, at least.
I don't know. PG-17 is the thing, isn't it?
No.
Or is that R-17?
No, it's NC-17.
Yeah, sorry.
And that's
Fuck
above,
you, I'm not sorry.
It's above R. And
I need to stop apologizing for getting stuff wrong. Fuck you, I don't care.
You said it, I didn't.
Yeah, I know. But you were so willing to accept my apology.
Why not?
Yeah, because you're just like that, aren't you?
Should I not accept your apology? Should I be rude to you?
Yeah, fuck you. Why are you rude to me?
I wasn't.
You're asking if I should be, so you're considering it. In your head, you're already thinking about being rude to me.
You're getting ahead of yourself in your own head about what happens in my head.
Or am I putting that in your head?
No, don't put anything there. It's off limits.
Kind of strange for Kiritsugu to tell Shiro that saving everyone is impossible. I know that's been his life experience so far, but the note we effectively heard him go out on was for Shiro to take up his dream of becoming a champion of justice. Also, his saving one life means not being able to save another is very situational. If you shoot someone with a gun that is about to open fire on a group of people, you saved a lot of people. The pick one or pick the other movie trope doesn't seem like a realistic expectation to have when it comes to saving people.
Unless you manufacture basically a bunch of trolley problems like they did in the end of Zero, right? When he had to choose, smaller number of people that he couldn't save.
Well, those were imaginary trolley problems anyway.
True. But it also led him to destroy the Grail, so... Well, I guess not destroy the Grail, destroy this version of the Grail, but...
I mean, it was a thought problem that led him to a solution. I mean, I always think back to Incarnations of Mortality for that one, where the main character in one of the books is being threatened by a praying mantis. I can't remember, do praying mantises have the same rules that T-Rexes have? Because I think that was the implication that was being there, that he could stand still and the thing wouldn't attack him, but the thing's not going to move because it knows he's there. He just can't see you. So he's just standing very still, and the book is going through his thought process of trying to apply lateral thinking on how to get out of here. If I know this is true, and I know that's true, these other things connect, but I don't remember exactly what he's going through. He's like matchsticks, like laying matchsticks down in his head to figure out different paths to get out of the problem. Just standing still so the thing doesn't see him move. Well, just that if they're in the Grail and him are in his head, that it's just going through thought processes to get him to achieve an end. So Shiro keeps seeing visions of what I can only assume to be Saber's sword throughout the day, when suddenly Ilya appears to him. We know her mother was the previous Grail, and her father was Kiritsugu, and most importantly, that she is half homunculus and will be the next Grail. But I wonder if she has the sheath from before. I have no idea how she'd get it, since Kiritsugu couldn't get back to the estate after the end of the war, and we have no real way of knowing what happened to it since the last time we saw it. I would assume it would be the object used in the summoning of Saber, and given the light we saw shining on Astoria at the end of Zero, when Shiro was talking about being the champion of justice, I would just assume he'd be her master. Also, just a notice, despite the fact that she calls him master in the dub, in the sub she says Oni-chan, older brother. Since he's Kiritsugu's adopted son, it would make them related. Yeah. Clearly a thing you needed me to read before I got to the board. It's the only time so far in anything that we've watched together where I've pointed out, this is what they actually said, versus what the subtitle said. Because anybody can hear Oni-chan being said.
Oni-chan. Oni-chan.
And my final note here. So as we know, Magus have their power developed and passed on through bloodlines, or something like that. But Shiro is adopted, So his power to detect the makeup of objects and fix them, that comes from someone else. That comes from someone that died in the last Grail War. By which I mean the big event at the end, obviously. At the same time, Kiritsugo telling him that he was also a magus evidently turned his entire life into a lie, as Shiro seems to think Kiritsugo spent his entire life studying magic, when we know he had like 1 to 2 tricks, and otherwise spent his time studying guns and how to kill people.
Yeah. Well, it might be that you. Here's the thing.
While you were studying
that
that
makes-
book, I was studying the sword.
Yeah. That you might have more people in the world with access to magic, but during the Great War, only a selected few might be selected. And therefore, especially ones who have, well-known family lines, which might lead to the scenario that kind of back up what I was saying before, my theory, not theory crafting, that whatever that skeleton was doing was killing off possible rivals. Of course, that also means that why would they all be concentrated in one city? Besides the fact that this is where the Great War happens, conceivably they could be all over the world, right? If magical ability, or if this is a place where there's, aside from the Grail, something else, maybe the temple, that generates enough magic to concentrate it here somehow.
I do not think that you're right about a number of things, but I also can't remember where the two characters, the Waver and the guy at the school, who shat on Waver's thoughts about non-bloodline related magic. I don't remember if they're from here or maybe, because it seems like that might be like England or something, that they're also like the Ironsburns, that they came here to fight in the Grail War from elsewhere.
The school was a school for people who use magic, right? So
yeah, but if it's an England thing, like if it's in England and you come from all over the world to study magic, like Hogwarts or whatever, right? Then that would imply that there are less people in the world magically inclined that gather together, rather than there's a lot of people here, so many that we made a school for it here. That would be the difference in that. And I think that's probably the truth, that this is a European magical school that a bunch of people from all across Europe came to, and not just that there's a large portion of people in an area that have magic. Unfortunately, there's also a thing that I don't think has come up yet in what we're watching that would make it untrue. But I also don't think that they would start indiscriminately killing people hoping to randomly catch a master.
Again, if you want to win the grip, well...
Yeah, but you would have no idea who's a master. You're saying that they're indiscriminately killing magically inclined people in the hopes to catch someone who would be a master before they're a master, or in the space between getting the crest and doing a summons?
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like that's a very small period of time. It feels like it's a couple of days. Because I told you before, I think in the first episode, that, what was it? In the prologue, because I already shared the prologue stuff with you, so it's no longer on the spoiler table, that Rin has like 1 day in between the crest and summoning Archer. And that was the last day to summon anyone. So presumably we're still in that final day here. Yeah. So again, it just seems crazy that killing all the mages in the town to make sure there's no other magus. Because I would just then assume, because it seems like the Grail goes to lengths to make sure all spots are filled, that it would just give somebody outside the town radius the power.
Somebody who's not from a well-known or even an unknown family heritage. Like, oh, I have magic, like what happened with Shiro. Like, I have magical powers. I didn't know that. Well, shit.
I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it only picks people from like big lineages.
Oh yeah,
like Ryunosuke, for example. Ryunosuke has no lineage that we're aware of.
Yep. Just saying. Any more notes?
Well, since I said it was my last note, it seems unlikely that I would just be saving one to pull out.
Now, yeah, of course. And we don't have any comments, apparently, so it's time to get on with the show then.
Don't know why you think that, since I specifically said that there was a comment.
Oh.
Didn't hear me when I said that's my last note. Didn't hear me when I said that's like we have a comment. You're on the ball today, Lessons. God, I can't wait for those Legends of Galactic Heroes notes to come in handy.
Yeah.
Oh, you should have. That would have been great. It's a joke. You start reading your, like, what are we talking about? Just don't tell me. Just don't tell me that you messed up.
Who the hell is this guy doing? No, he's not from here. What the hell?
So when Reinhardt is talking to, like, what? I think there's a Reinhardt in this show. Did I miss something?
Yeah.
Because my first step would be to doubt myself first before anything.
I mean, with the names that you have in this show, you could have a Reinhardt. It's not a
no. This is no Zeta. Reinhardt. This is no Zeta where it just feels like any name is on the board.
Yeah.
Placenta T. Templeton. I can swear that that could be a name in Zeta. I feel like.
Yeah. Flower of the Abyss or something like that.
All right. So 2 comments. We have one from David Butt, the sponsor of the show. From Patreon, from the episode The First Day. For clarification, Fate's Day Night was a visual novel released in 2004, and it was comprised of 3 separate story routes. First, you played the Fate route, which is adapted here. Then after you beat that, you unlocked Unlimited Blade Works, which was adapted as a movie by Studio Dean in 2009, and as a full TV series by UFO Table in 2014. After you beat the Unlimited Blade Works route, you unlocked the 3rd route, Heaven's Feel, which was also adapted by UFO Table as a movie trilogy between 2017 and 2020. Fate Zero was a light novel series written in 2006 as a prequel to all 3 routes of the original game and adapted by UFO Table in 2011.
The visual novel, light novel, anime series, and now we have other games that have come out as well, which are more actiony. So, yeah.
Well, as I said, I already wrote that note about when things came out. But again, before everyone started telling me in comments for other shows. But as you put the timeline together here, the visual novel released in 2004. Unlimited Blade Works was adapted by a movie in 2009. Let's see. That would mean that Fate Zero was adapted in 2011. And then, sorry, I should put this in a row or something. I think this one, 2014, yeah. Unlimited Blade Works, the TV thing, was adapted in 2014. And then Heaven's Feel in 2017 through 2020.
Yeah. Doing stuff to create my own timeline of some other project. And yeah, it can be confusing at times, especially when your primary source doesn't even have dates on it.
Well, this is only difficult for me because I'm just adapting it from a paragraph. So just, what's the next line? What's the next one?
Yeah.
Putting things in chronological order when they're not written in the chronological order. I would be interested in hearing what the other shows are and if how they relate. Like there's a Fate one coming out, next year? How does that relate to all this? Is that another game? Is it related to the Fate's Day Night series, or is it its own thing? I'm asking you. I'm asking the commenters.
No.
I understood, but I felt like you might start being weighing in or something. It's like, no, not asking you to weigh in. I'm just interested because it's interesting to see that there's Fate stuff happening right now. Well, again, I'm 3 deep in a Fate stuff, and you're 2 deep in a Fate stuff.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess that is everything from notes, comments, and the board. So nothing left to do but to hop on in and see what we get from episode 2.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's 0 pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Oh, we're back to the.
間違いなく最強のカードを引き当てた。
やれやれ。
She said before she summoned Archer
とんでもないマスターに引き当てられ
and
た。
wasted a command seal. Oh, look at that evil bitch,
誰かを救うというのはね、
said you.
他の誰かを救わないっていうことなんだよ。
Watermelon's not cheap,
Depends what you want.
especially if you want square watermelon.
では行くが、後のことは分かってるな。
はい。あの時、子供
That's not
心
where
に
you
気
got
づいていた。
Okay, that's a different difference.
この人はもう帰ってこないだろうと。
Also, your mother was there. I remember that from Fate Zero too.
国と国ではなく、たった7人の魔術師が争う戦争が。
リン、いずれ聖杯は現れる。あれを手に入れるのは遠坂家の義務であり。
I feel like he probably would have said that.
お前なら一人でも大丈夫だ。
It's alright, I will list that one difference here. In Unlimited Blade Works, she gets that from cracking open a box of stuff he left for her. He didn't just give it to her. Something I feel like I said in way too many anime. He didn't just give it to her.
サーバント中最強と言われるセーバーの召喚を狙って10年間努力してきたのにな。
Oh, she was hoping she was gonna get
ま
Saber.
たその話。
Well, yeah, what's his
気
name
に
called
し
her?
ないで。あなたに不満があるわけじゃないわ。ただ、狙いを外しちゃった自分の不甲斐なさに呆れてるだけ。あなたの入れる紅茶、とても美味しいわ。
それはありがと
Aren't you
それより
forgetting
アーチャ
something,
ーって
Ren?
いうのは旧兵クラスの名称よね。私はマスターとして自分のサーバントの本当の名前、宇治素性、
You don't want to
どこ
know.
の英霊なのかを知る権利があると
Who
思
do
う
you
んだ
think
け
he
ど、
is?
まさか未だ自分の素性が思い出せ
Doesn't
ない
look like
っていうん
anybody,
じゃないでしょうね。サーバントが自分の
Ivanhoe?
新名を覚えてないなんて
Robin Hood?
あり得るの？
Who's a famous
Okay.
archer? It could be anybody.
とにかく記憶に混乱が見られる。ただ、これは君の不
There's so
完
many
全な
archers,
召喚の
famous archers across
何よ
across
それ。
history. You know.
あんたが
Well,
自分のことを覚えていないの
He's just
も
telling you he
私が
doesn't
ごじった
remember
せ
his
いだと言
name,
いたいわ
so
け？
Yeah.
そればかりではないが、まあ、さして重大な欠落でもなし、気にするな。
気にするわよ。あんたがどんな英霊か知らなきゃ作戦も立てにくいし、どのくらい強いのかもわからないじゃない。
それについては一つ言えることがある。
何よ。
リン、君は優秀なマスターだ。霊樹といい魔力といい、最強と言っていいだろう。
Then we just gave Archer the up
その
down.
君に召喚されたサーバントである私が最強でないはずがあるまい。
おだてでもダメよ。
事実を素直に言ったまでだが。
Again, I think I liked that better when it was in the middle of a 40-minute episode because it came more
あなたの
naturally.
ことは応用すればいいってことにしとくわ。
The glaze
Yes,
that he
yes,
gives
info
her.
それ
dumping.
はそうと。
Yeah.
Well, you're very strong. Clearly, you could only have
7人の魔術師、
summoned the strongest
7人
summon,
のサー
right?
バントによって行われる。もう7人揃ってるのかしら。
さて、どう
You
かな。
legit know that you're the last one. No, actually, you don't know. You just know that he was saying that you have to summon it before, implying that there was still open slots left. Again, have to talk over the opening no matter how much I want to
Yeah.
listen. Oh, shit, I did the thing again.
You sent me out.
Well, you weren't
clearly
talking anyway.
Yeah, no, I wasn't saying anything. So how will you know? But they're clearly putting them against each other, right? Rin versus what's his name? Said Emiya, but that's his last name.
Well,
Shiro.
anyone that's in the Grail War wins against.
True, but the opening seems to be pairing them, right? Although here their servants are not.
Is the
Those
opening
two,
pairing
so-
them? By opening, you mean the opening of the show or the opening of the show?
Opening the OP, yeah.
I don't know that's
The way,
pairing them. I
they
haven't
appear
seen...
in sequence.
Granted, it's been a month since the last time I watched the opening, and the fact that we have to talk over it now kind of makes it difficult to recall that. Sorry, I
There's
realized I
Saber,
have this at full
Artorian.
volume. Let me fix that real quick. There we go. Sorry, normally I have the show at 70%, so I can better hear you and the show at the same time. And I was, God, this is pretty loud for an opening. That's still at 100%. Yeah, again, I guess maybe it's an element that I'll bring up in my notes for next month. Because I don't recall them being paired that much in the opening. Again, on the board, I have it represented as Sakura has a thing for Shiro.
Faithful Night. Oh, Fate's Day Night. That's a lot of food.
That looks like white
Like you
chocolate
said,
covered
it's a lot of
pretzels.
food. Yeah. No, that's fish, I think it was.
No, I'm just saying it looks like. Well, I don't even like pretzels, man. I'm just pointing out what it looks like to me.
I don't know. Pretzels are fine. I look like soft pretzels. They're pretty good with mustard.
None of the above for me.
No, you're missing out, man.
I'm missing out if I don't like it.
Oh, you like peanut butter, sir. And, you know, I gotta learn how to eat with chopsticks. I feel like a moron for not knowing.
I'll just defend everybody and bring a fork.
Well, yeah, that would work. Or actually, it would. Well, it would work to offend people. It wouldn't work. You know.
Doesn't matter if I don't care about shame. You can't hurt me. You might want to trail that up to find out where it's coming from.
Yeah, it seems to be coming all the way.
Based on what? You could be so hurt that you don't know how hurt you are.
Yeah, it could be your nerve could be dead.
It could be a bullet wound for all you know. Shock. Memory serves, she is the captain of the archery team.
And she didn't get archery. Well, I don't think she said
her, not Sakura.
I know.
あいつなんかやったの？
最近ちょいと度が過ぎてんのよね。ちょっと目を離してるとやりたい放題。この間も弓を持ったばかりの男子生徒にわざと女子の前で的を射させて当たるまで散々笑い物にしたのよ。
お前まさかそれ黙って。
To be fair, if they were laughing stock before they hit the target, they probably continued to be.
いつも道場にいられるわけじゃないから現場も抑えられなかったし、シンジのやつ問い詰めてもヘラヘラ逃げちゃうし、だく腹立つな。
だけど何考えてんだシンジのやつ。厳しく教えるのと素人を見せ物にするのは別だってことぐらいわかるだろうに。
聞いた話じゃこっぴどく振られたんだってさ、あの遠坂凛に。
That would do it. Yes.
It's pretty funny.
Wow. Oh, wow. His imagination is for her without clothing, without shirt.
Well, it's pretty funny because that actually happens in the prologue of Unlimited Blade Works, so I saw it. It's like, oh, okay. To be fair, he was pretty much a jerk there, too.
Yeah.
See? Now you understand why I said it'd be very confusing if you just kept saying Matao for one person.
最近部活の調子どうかなと思ってさ。
はあ？なんで弓道部を辞めたやつに心配されるわけ？
Which answered a question that I had before too. He's the guy who quit the archery club.
はあ、エミヤと違って僕はその手のくだらない雑用には興味ないからね。そん時は頼むよ。
It's also funny because that discussion happens in a classroom in the other show. Other people get to witness it.
I guess they're better friends here instead of being frenemies. I guess it still has the frenemies feel to it.
Really? Because I understood that only Caster could do that.
すぐ仕掛けてくる気はなさそうだが、慎重に機会を伺っているようだな。
面白いわ。人がいなくなるまで様子を見ましょう。
Yeah, I feel like the shows are diverging pretty clearly in such a way, but still somehow the same sort of scenes are happening.
あのな、天寿全うしてたらいくら俺でも直せないぞ。
ダメか。
Yeah, if the tube burned out, which I've had CRTs done, it's the end of that. Also, CRTs can be pretty dangerous if you don't demagnetize them. As in, it's the wrong place and you're dead. So yeah, kids, careful with CRTs.
You say demagnetize, you mean degauss?
Degauss, yes. You were absolutely right. I am absolutely wrong. That was the wrong.
No,
choice.
just I remember that old TVs used to have that function on them. You hit the degauss button, the
Yeah.
whole screen, and then it'd come back.
一斉に頼まれて生徒会の備品を直してたんだ。
ああ、
Also, you know, if you put a magnet in your TV screen, it wouldn't fuck it up. You begin colors you never thought existed.
僕はほら、何かと忙しく。悪いけど、代わりにエミヤが片付けといてよ。
それって麻藤先輩が藤村先生に言われたんじゃなかった？
でもさ、片付けなんかしてたら店閉まっちゃうじゃん。
Also, really weird.
そこの人が代わってく
Yeah,
れるんだら
definitely. I don't think I'm gonna have a problem
なんか悪くない？
separating the two shows.
ああ、構わないよ。どうせ暇だし。
よし、決まり。じゃあ行こうぜ、みんな。
Other than remembering what happened to one person based on name.
あいつさ、昔から人の手伝いするのが大好きなんだよ。
信じらんない。それバカじゃないの？
Because this is a whole fucking confrontation in the other show based on something that hasn't happened here.
よし。
He's just doing it because he likes helping people here, it seems.
Yeah. Well, like I said, they and in my notes, they're setting up us as a goody two shoes kind of person, right?
Right, but I'm looking at it from the meta of how the two shows are different from one another. Like, the same events, different inspiration for how they happen in different places.
来た。日没を待っていたようだ。仕掛けてくるぞ。
すごいさっき。
よう、いい夜だな。そこの兄さんもそう思うだろう。
アーチャーが見えてる。こいつやっぱりサーバント。
そういうこと。
Well, yeah, but even in Fate Zero, servants couldn't hide from other servants.
俺の敵ってことでいいだな。
アーチャー。着地任せた。
Well, slightly disappointing. The same sort of scene happens in Unlooted Blade Works, but she actually chants a spell that makes her, like, lighter. I thought we were about to see some magic from Rin.
話が早くていいね。そうでなくちゃな。
やり使い、ランサーのサーバントね。
Like I already told you at the beginning, you're gonna have to carry this, and I'm still doing all the talking.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking that there is a Lancer. I think it might be though, and he's Irish. If that's Galabolga, he could be a bit. Well, no, that might make him a berserker. Interesting.
Remember that not everyone is in the specialty you would think that they would have. Like, Iskander being a writer, you're like, well, he didn't write anything really.
Yeah.
なんだよ。校庭の方か。
Always running towards danger.
なんだあいつら。
I guess he can't see them too.
Well, they're not
No, yeah,
invisible
they can,
mode or whatever.
Yeah.
What country's hero are you? But I'm not talking about the guy from 10 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, something like that.
しまった。まだ人が残ってたなんて。
We don't summon them, so he's the one who's been killing people.
I mean, there's no way to tell.
割と遠くまで走ったじゃねえか。ま、運がなかったな。見られたからには死んでくれや。死人に口なしってね。
I guess they don't really cover it here. In the other one, it's implied that Lancer's chasing after him because normal people aren't allowed to see the Grail War. So if you witness it, you die. Here he just chased the guy down for no reason.
味方になんてなれるわけが。
Yeah, I think in the other one they're leaning more on that the fight at the river in Fate Zero, where all these normal people are about to see this thing happening that they can't see happen.
私のせいだ。犠牲者が出ることぐらい覚悟してたはずじゃない。ランサーを追ってアーチャー。ランサーはマスターのところに戻るはず。せめてマスターの顔ぐらい把握しないと。
わかった。
ごめんね。せめて見とるぐらいはしてあげる。嘘。やめてよね。なんだって。
Not quite dead yet.
なんだって。あんたが。ごめんなさい、お父さん。あなたの娘はとんでもなく薄情者です。破損した臓器を偽造して代用。その間に心臓修復。
誰だ。親父、俺誓ったのにな。魔法使いになれたらきっと誰か。
Again, this is the element that I appreciate for watching both shows, is that this is information I don't get from the other one. And I got information from the other one I didn't get for this. And I thought this was stupid in both of them. I guess that she likes him or something, like their classmates and whatever, but that was basically an extra man that you just wasted.
Okay.
Here's your dinner. I had to go. Something like that, I'm sure. Oh, we know Sakura's the one that makes dinner, so.
実体を持って殺し合ってたじゃないか。俺も殺されかけた。いや、心臓に一突き。
I guess we're just not covering the element that you were bleeding from the arm before any of this even started.
あそこにいた誰かが助けてくれた。
成果はどうだった？
すまない。よほど用心深いマスターなんだろう。少なくともこちら側の町にランサーのマスターはいなかった。
I forgot the name of the. He's a berserker in Irish lore.
That famous lancer, the berserker. But I also point out is also a class. It's also berserker is also a class in this. Remember?
I know.
It'd be hilarious if we find out that the berserker is a famous lancer.
Well, yeah, because the thing is about that lance was that you're supposed to kick it up with your feet, and it's supposed to go into your guts and just rip your guts inside out. So.
遅かれ早かれ目撃者がまだ生きていると気づくだろう。
Not good art. Not good art on the wall back there.
ランサーが放っておくわけない。
Huh. I've got a contradictory thought about this from Unlimited Blade Works.
最悪だ。でもここまでどん底に落ちりゃ、あとは前進するのみ。
No, you could die again.
Technically, if you hit the bottom, the next person has to bury you in the ground.
来やがれ。さっきのようには。
やれやれ、痛みを感じないで済むよう俺なりに気使ったんだがな。しかし
Somebody came upon him and he was still alive, probably suffering the entire time.
こいつは驚いた。なるほど。心臓を貫かれても生きてるってのはそういうことか。微弱だが魔力を感じる。
まったく余計な苦労を背負おうとしているぞ、君は。
ええ、そう思うわ。
Almost, but just barely giving people that Nietzsche vibe. Because that's something I can do.
Apparently.
I mean, I feel like that needs to be explained. Because if he can just pass through walls and shit, that's something. For being a great lancer, you're missing a lot of shots on a normal-ass dude.
爪だ。割と驚かされたぜ、坊主。ひょっとすると、お前が7人目だったのかもな。
7人目
だとしても、これで終わりだ。
Oh, his blood is in the circle. So.
せっかく助けてもらった命だ。簡単には死ねない。こんな風に意味もなく死ぬわけ
I hate to say lessons, but this is like the second time I've seen this scene. I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I thought this just fucking happened.
No, remember that when Rin has to summon, at least in this version, she has to use her own blood as well. So
not in the other version either.
But yeah, here
that's why in the incantation I read from the other version, she says all this stuff because she's pouring stuff into it and everything.
Servant, saber, 召喚に従い参上した。と王、あなたが私のマスターか。
声が出なかった。突然の出来事に混乱していたんだろうか。いや。
But then I remember there's a man standing in the room trying to kill me.
ただ目の前の少女に。そのあまりの美しさ。
Well, that's different. Really puts other context into a later scene. Also, your taste, I guess.
Mm. He likes girls with big swords, I guess.
Yeah, but ironically, she has a big sword, and that's the only, you know. But, I guess also applying to a comment that I believe we read in the past, but not having been said here or by the commenter. That's actually Saber. That's actually Artoria. Yeah. No, I mean by the element that it's the one that carries through. It's apparently implied that the other summons aren't being summoned alive. They're being summoned from their spirit. This is literally her from that moment in time. She gets summoned from that battlefield to the first Grail War, then goes back to that battlefield, and then is summoned again from there. So she's continuing on from the storyline of Fate Zero to now. She has just gotten done with the last Grail War where she has lost everything and then was forced to destroy the Grail against her wishes and has now been summoned back from that point.
Yeah.
Again, unlike everybody else who is themselves a spirit being summoned and losing all their memories or something. I don't know. Not very clear on
She's being ripped of time. That's what you're saying, basically.
Again and again.
Yeah.
Again, for her, she just lost the Grail War, then got a vision of light, and then got summoned back again.
Yeah, the Battle of Mount Baden. Baden, yeah. CBS, correct.
Fate, stay night.
Thank you, Dracula.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there it is.
So this
I guess
next
it was still
time
the same
on music
day?
always reminds me of the music that played in the failed EA sci-fi space MMO Earth and Beyond. The trailer has music that plays exactly like this, featuring the voice actress of she played Susan Ivanova in Babylon 5.
Yeah, I know.
She was a faction leader in Earth and Beyond. Might have been the Janissary Explorers, which would have been the Jupiter-based faction. No, I think she was the Terran Traders, which is the Earth-based faction. Earth and Beyond is mostly about doing spaceship stuff. The only time you were out of your spaceship was to be on a space station, trading and getting missions and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. Well, she also was in Skyrim as well, doing several characters.
Yeah, but this would have been a long time before that.
Oh, yeah. Interesting episode. Although having him being basically clueless about what's going on, I guess
who would have told him?
Haven't been, yeah. Well, I guess the reason we have him as a clueless protagonist is because then it's like, oh, we get to find out how all this works through him, right? As he figures it out.
Literally, our complaints about Gundam Zeta.
Yeah. Well, he's not, unlike the character in Zeta, who is an asshole. This guy is trying to be nice.
To clarify for not you, but the audience who might not give a shit about Gundam, is that our complaints about Gundam Zeta is comparing it to Mobile Suit Gundam, the original one, not the origin, but the original one, which is to say that the characters are swept up into something that they don't really comprehend, and thus their gaining comprehension is us gaining comprehension. Where Zeta doesn't do that, doesn't feel like that. And that makes for a better point of view character. You know, that's why the Everyman is a good point of view character, because the Everyman doesn't understand what they're in. They have to learn, and by them learning, you learn as the audience.
Yeah.
And again, in this instant, they're not like, say, Rin, we know that their dad was trying to get them there, or Sakura, who is being molded by the Mataus to do this thing, which is also very weird, because, you know, in Fate, the last thing we saw from Fate Zero is them calling the other guy, you fool, how dare you mess with our grandfather, you know, that all your efforts to save me were pointless from the beginning, and now she is happy home life girl.
Let's see how long that lasts. It could be that she never becomes a Grail user, but I doubt it. We
didn't know Shinji before, and now we know Shinji exists, so is it that they shifted from Sakura to Shinji?
Perhaps.
Again, there's elements here that I feel like are taking place out of series from what I've experienced in Unlimited Blade Works, that I feel like we're going to be like going back to characters and getting flashes of what's happened to explain scenes that then we've seen already, or something like that, or they just aren't going to happen that way, and the divergence has already happened. And now, again, I gotta segregate one narrative from another narrative. Oh, wait, doesn't he hate that guy? It's like, oh no, wait, that scene didn't happen.
Well, remember, here's the thing, that we have to understand that each has different paths, and therefore, from the original game, and each one is its own interpretation of whoever made the series, right? They're always going to inject their own take on things, right? So,
well, I would correct you already in that we don't have to understand that. I have to understand that. You've got the one story. That's all you have to pay attention to.
Well, I still have to compare it with Fate Zero, which is a prequel.
Okay,
and so
again, though, we're talking like Full Metal Alchemist, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. If I was watching both of those, and then I was only watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood with, oh, actually, no, this would be, I was only watching Full Metal Alchemist with you.
Alchemist, too, Full Metal Alchemist
Brotherhood. And then for some reason there was something else that also involved these characters. No, it wouldn't be that. It would be something, I guess it'd be the story of Hohenheim. If there was something that involved the story of Hohenheim that we would refer to, that would be your Fate Zero in this measure. Because, again, you only have to keep track of these characters in one instance. I have to keep track, because it's the same characters in Fate, Unlimited Blade Works.
Also would be another series that we compare it is Legion of, not Legion.
The Legion of the Galactic Heroes.
Heroes, yes. The Legend of Galactic Heroes versus Legend of Galactic Heroes. What was the name you call it?
I guess that's a more apt comparison,
and
because there's the element that
the prequel, yeah.
Well, no, I would say we both watched Gaiden. That would be the equivalent to Fate Zero. We're both currently watching Legend of the Galactic Heroes, the 1980s, 1990s thing.
80s, yeah.
Well, I think it expands across. But anyway, my point being that I have also watched Die New Thieves, which is a reboot.
Die New Thieves, yeah.
But the element there is that I don't think Die New Thieves is changing anything. It's just supposed to be a more compact, up-to-date telling of the story with better graphics and whatnot. God, I love the Die New Thieves opening, the first opening. That's what first got me to want to watch the show, and versus what the openings we have here. But my point being is that Unlimited Blade Works is meant to change stuff. That's why I go to the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood thing, is that is a different story past a certain point.
Yeah.
well, this is also a different story. So it's not really the equation of Legend of Galactic Heroes versus Legend of Galactic Heroes Die New Thieves, because those are supposed to be the same story. So here, it's like trying to remember the differences between Mobile Suit Gundam and Mobile Suit Gundam, the novel. You know, where like Char is called Shaw and has been a friend of Amuro's since the very beginning or something. It's like, same characters, different stories.
Different context, certainly.
Yeah, so at some point, Unlimited Blade Works is going to veer off wildly. But right now, same scenarios, different locations, and different setups.
Yeah.
You know, Shiro and Shinji having that conversation in the stairwell is actually a confrontation that happens in a classroom in the other one. So, and that actually leads somewhere, and it leads, well, I guess it leads somewhere here too.
Oh, Cullen, yeah.
It might also be an element that the first episode of Unlimited Blade Works was another 40-something minute episode, whereas here we're still 24-minute episodes a pop. So as I said, I would say that episode 1 of Unlimited Blade Works is basically ends here. Well, with one added thing. Maybe it would go like 5 to 10 more minutes than this one did. But ultimately, at the end of episode 1 of Unlimited Blade Works, I'm essentially 4 episodes worth of content in. So even at this point, I would have so much more context for what's happening. But I think I even had a comment point out that Unlimited Blade Works is also referred to as Unlimited Money Works, because it seemed like they had an unlimited budget.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think the art is better there, but also just, you know, they had the money to do a special that's like 50-something minutes long, and a 40-something minute long first episode.
That's a bigger budget, definitely. Also, the character I was thinking about was Cole Cullen, who's an Irish folk
I believe
hero.
that was the Fate Zero guy.
Be the same guy then?
I don't think you get summoned
that
twice.
is-
Well, I guess
is-
I was going to
is-
say I don't think you get summoned twice, but then Saber's here twice. So. Oh, no, never mind. That was Daramod Dulbine. Again, I'm never going to say these names right. That's the guy from Fate Zero. Well, thankfully, to the benefit of me, I do think he gets named. No, actually, I don't think he gets named in Unlimited Blade Works yet either, to the episodes that I've watched. So I was just looking at the board and like, shit, Lessons, she's going to tab over to the side and see what his name is. Nope. I don't have a name there. He hadn't been named, or if he got named the last episode, what I saw last week, he did not get named. I haven't put it down yet. But I mean, if you do look at the board, I don't know, you probably left it already. You can see the art style differences between them. Lancer over here and Lancer over there. Both blue hair, but he's got more of a, God, I would say a hairstyle that you would only see in, say, JoJo. I don't like JoJo, so I've only seen like pictures of what JoJo characters look like. I watched the first season of JoJo, didn't like it, and then everyone's like, you gotta keep watching fucking JoJo, and I was like, fuck you, I'm my own person.
I gotta do shit.
Well, yeah, it's the element of I hate everyone saying, you gotta fucking watch JoJo. It's like, I was out of JoJo's when they put a dog into an oven. The first season, you know, what's his name? Dio? Dio hates JoJo, so he takes his dog and puts him into like one of those outdoor, like, stone oven things, and just fucking cooks him alive. And I was like, I fucking hate this show.
Yeah, no, that's
So why would I watch more? And they're like, yeah, but it really kicks up in season 3. Like, the element, I guess JoJo's is like Fast and the Furious, where Fast and Furious tries to take itself seriously for like a couple of movies, and then just decides to go fucking over the top. And everyone's like, yeah, over the top is fucking where it's at with Fast and the Furious. That's where it gets good. So JoJo's gets over the top, I guess, in like 3 seasons. And I'm like, that's
it's a
okay.
little too late for me.
Yeah, it blew its load. Unfortunately, all over my pancakes. And I was like, I don't want to eat these fucking pancakes.
Not in front of my salad.
Yeah, because the salad would be jealous. I don't know where we're going.
No, that's an old joke.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't get that. So it's just like I said, all of my pancakes, and you're like, not in front of my salad. And I was like, what are we? Like, Is like a food harem thing going on?
Close enough,
So
I
like
guess.
the
If you
commercials
get
where
it,
you put the
if you
food
get
into
it, you get it. If you don't
the
get it, it
freezer
doesn't
and the
matter.
food's talking to itself while you're not looking.
Yeah, seen those commercials. They're
I
weird.
told you about the show or the movie I thought I had watched forever ago, and I finally found it again. God, what was it? It was an Amazing Stories episode where the woman goes on a diet, and the diet is that food's alive and you can hear it, but you can only hear it if you take the drug or something like that. So she can't eat the food because every time she goes to eat it, it's begging for forgiveness or it's begging for its life, and then when you're eating it, it's screaming in pain. Yeah, eventually that's the one where I told you before that only thing I could remember of it before was that she sews her mouth shut. And
and dies of starvation, I guess.
They find her dead in her house, dead of not eating food. But ironically, the element that's at play is before all that happens, the food's also rotting. So the food's complaining about dying as well, but also doesn't want to die, so it doesn't want to be eaten or killed.
Yeah.
So it's like just such a strange fucking thing.
Well, if you're getting old, you don't want to be just put out to pasture, I guess.
Or cannibalized.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's also a supremely effective diet, I imagine.
Yeah.
You don't want to eat food because you didn't get a band around your stomach that makes it painful to eat, but you still have to. It's literally cannibalism. Things are begging you not to be eaten and screaming in pain when you eat them. I gotta put my earplugs in. It's time for dinner.
Unless you're a very sadistic person who's like, aha, time to hear the screams as I put you in my mouth. Yeah.
It's a very weird concept.
That would be the thing where you flip the switch if you were to make that story. Oh, I want to, some guy or I want to lose, take this drug, it'll make you feel like the food is like, but I like their screams. And they find him dead because he ends up dead.
Two things. One, I'm also remembering that there was like an upgrade plan that she went on because she could hear it before, but it was like, where the fuck is this noise coming from? The upgrade plan is you get glasses and it makes them like anthropomorphic or something. So they have faces and then you could see them begging for your life. Two, I think your idea only works in the new Twilight Zone episodes or New Outer Limits. I think New Outer Limits specifically. Because New Outer Limits would combine their storylines, like all those storylines about the robots being sentient or something like that. Like the guy's building an android, brings it home, kills his wife, falls in love with the android, or all the other storylines where shit like that would happen, would then come together in like a news story episode about the news people that were reporting on that being like taken down by the government. And then because I just remember specifically the Outer Limits would have here's a bunch of individual episodes and here's a mega episode that brings all those storylines together into a giant episode, not like a clip show, but like combining them all together. Like I remember there was one where a college professor was bringing together a bunch of pure people. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? No tattoos, no body modifications, things like that. Because it turns out he found an alien spaceship and they're going to go to the alien homeworld. And then 20 episodes later, it actually was a time machine and they're going into the human future where humans have actually body modded themselves into extinction. They can no longer have kids or whatever. And we're going to be the next generation because the spaceship has combined our DNA into like millions of different combinations, get past the Adam and Eve thing. Where like incest would be a thing that would ruin you. No, we've combined all your strands of your DNA into a whole, essentially generational ship of babies that will repopulate the Earth after human extinction has already happened.
I think the one episode, I remember a couple episodes of the Outer World Limits when in the 80s or 90s when they made one of the many
if it was in color, it was
remakes.
The 90s.
It was in
late
color
90s.
One of them was like, oh, the aliens arrive on Earth and they're like, oh yeah, we got to establish world peace, and they're working very hard to establish world peace and all the wars. And then at the end, the alien shows up and goes like, "What do you mean you have world peace? We wanted you to be warriors in our eternal war conquest of the galaxy. I guess you're not worth anything. We're gonna have to kill you all," and they just kill humanity.
Yeah, there's so many of those.
There's another one which is pretty interesting, kind of has Fallout vibes. There's this, and also it has Genesis 2. If you never watched the movie, that's okay.
We've talked about it where I think you mean Earth 2, whereas Tim Curry is on.
No, it's Genesis 2. Yeah, Genesis 2.
Oh, that's right. No, we looked it up. They had the spaceship one. Never mind.
Well, he's not
Go
a
on to the
spaceship.
Outer Limits because you're going to move past the thing I already don't know and don't care about, but I've watched a ton of Outer Limits.
The common thing is that this guy was put in cryo. He wakes up. He's in a facility in a dark room. And it's like, hey, there's a computer. It's like, oh, yeah, no, you got to do the thing in the computer because that's your job. And he's like, but what? Why am I? Because, like, he keeps finding stuff that is out of whack. And eventually they explain to him that this is the computer that controls the defense network.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. You're getting it mixed up because that's like the favorite Outer Limits episode of all of them for me. He's part of a defense network with a bunch of other stations, and you've got to hit the button when it goes off because all of your stations are tied to the world's nuclear response because the aliens are coming. And that's the one I keep describing to you because it's the alien tied to the back of the guy's neck at the end of the episode. Oh, we did it. We saved them. Because all throughout the episode, all the other places are getting taken out. Like, it feels like the stations are either falling apart. So, like, dude gets, like, gassed to death because the environmental system stops working. Or another one's like, I hear something in the vents. And then they just go blank. And it's
this is not that episode.
The Russian him and the Russian lady are falling in love. And suddenly she goes blank. And he's like, fuck it, it's me left. I'm just going to let the whole thing go. And the entire thing is going to go. And then at the very end, the commander's calling him. Hit the button. We defeated the aliens. It's all fine. He hit the button. He's like, thank God. And he's like, we're working to get you out of there. Just don't worry. We're going to get you. And the camera pans back to the military guy. And when you get past the camera position of where he's sitting, you can see Washington, D.C. It's just waylaid. Like, there's no buildings left. It's fires everywhere. And it's just this one human guy with an alien on the back of his neck controlling his body, and it like pulls out of him after the communication goes away. We lost the war, but the aliens have figured out that we had this whole thing, so they communicated with him. No, don't hit the button. We're gonna get you out of there. And he's eventually now about to be dead, like everybody else is.
Yeah, no, that's not the story. It's similar, but it's not the same because
you described it as essentially almost the same thing.
And he's talking to this other people, and he's like, "Oh, I'm captured, whatever." No, actually, because the story starts with him being interrogated, and he's
you're talking about the prison one where they all try to break out of the prison together, and it turns out I can't remember what the twist of that one was, but you're about to describe it for us.
And so, this different people are trying to convince him to do something. Oh, yeah, we got to do this because it's going to help us, whatever. It's like because he's supposed to be in cryo, and then they realize that they basically tell him the truth. Like, listen. You're the only person who has the information to activate the satellite system, and you have to use it. No, actually, because they convince him there is an invasion coming in. It's an enemy ship that's going to come, and he has to destroy it. But it's like, wait a minute, your data that you're giving me doesn't add up. And it turns out that it's a shuttle with an American flag, right, coming from Mars or something. And he has to shoot it down because basically they tell him, listen, yeah, they're the people who basically made this war happen. We had a world war. We're now recovering. Now they're coming back. And if they come back, they're going to set up, they're going to start
it's
over
always
again.
A classic thing to put you in a position where you think you're dealing with humans on Earth. And it turns out at the very end of an episode, oh no, these are the aliens. Where the bad guys are coming. It's us.
Yeah. And basically they tell them it's an alien invasion, but in fact, it turns out that it's not an alien invasion. Well, because they're humans. They're the leadership, apparently, of the United States that fled the planet during the war, and now they're coming back, and he has to make a decision. Do I kill the people that I used to work for in the past, because I'm supposed to be part of the United States government, or do I help this new world
I legitimately think I've seen like a $100 budget movie that has that same idea.
Yeah.
This guy,
and he basically
in a room by himself is a classic sci-fi.
Yeah, he gets a joystick and aims it and destroys the ship and cheap CGI ship and whatever. And I think it was Outer Limits. Or
I mean, two other alien ones real quick before we get back to actual Fate stuff is the one where the cult is going out to live in the woods for nothing anymore. We're going to get away from the mainstream and everything. And it's just an alien camp led by something. The idea is that the moment that they went into the middle of the woods, they are actually now on a generational spaceship where the camp is being led by the aliens is actually teaching them subservience to an ultimate power. So by the time that they actually get to the alien place where they're needed, they're all going to be basically generationally indoctrinated slaves to this alien place. And the other one, oh god, sorry, well, I can't remember what the other one was now. I was going to go with the other alien one that oh no. What was it? Like, human drillers, or like, they're trying to get resources from an alien planet, and they encounter these aliens, and they get into a fight with the aliens, where they shoot first, obviously. The humans do. And at the very end of the episode, you find it's basically the alien versions of Boy Scouts. They attacked an alien Boy Scout group, and now their parents have come, and that's when they realize, oh no, we just fucking killed a bunch of alien kids. And they download the files from their computer, so they find out where Earth is. They destroy those people, and the end of the episode is the voiceover saying, "This is what happens when you done fucked up." Because the aliens will go and they approach Earth, and they just fucking start killing Earth because we're a bunch of savages, obviously, who would kill a bunch of kids. And I think it's also one of those ones that ties into a future episode where it's the people on Earth who are like, oh no, what do we fucking do? The aliens are showing up and they're fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, Fate Stay Night.
I said stuff. I was thinking about who the guy was, and I was explaining how it was the fact that he was able to summon Saber because his blood fell on the circle while it was forming. Although,
again, that's something I didn't notice, so that was actually valuable for me.
It's weird because I think that's what happened in the end of the last episode. He was unwillingly making the circle. See, that's the part that it's kind of weird, though. How
I think
the
that's
circle
something I need to rewatch because I don't believe that's the case.
Yeah.
Because also we saw the circle making itself in this episode,
and he also the blood that was running from either down the arm or up his arm. From
that was so far
between his
unexplained.
fingers. Yeah,
especially because the crest appears on your hand, not up your arm, wherever the fuck was happening there.
Yeah.
If I were to believe anything, speculation on my part, because I don't think that happens in Unlimited Blade Works. I would say that. See, I still don't know the thing about Sakura either. That's why I brought up the Fate Zero thing, what she's like at the end of that versus what she is starting here. That Sakura was the only one next to him, unless it's the archery woman. Whose name I forget. I think it starts with an A, or it's Mitsu something.
No, but they walked together, and Sakura was the first one to notice the blood.
Her name is Mitsuzuri. But she's right there next. No, she's there with them when his arm starts bleeding. She shows up right there at the beginning, right when his arm starts bleeding, because she's talking to them. So it's either Sakura poked his arm for some reason, or Mitsuzuri did, or he's bleeding for absolutely no reason, or maybe a summons, an invisible summons, because he wouldn't be able to detect them yet.
Yeah.
Again, it's not a thing. It's not a thing that happens on Unlimited Blade Works yet, or or won't happen at all. So maybe Caster's around and they need like voodoo shit. Maybe voodoo Caster is a thing.
Either way, it's interesting. I'm liking it so far.
Yeah, no, I'm in. I'm definitely in because I'm so invested now with how much lore that I'm essentially, writing for myself. So yeah, I guess that's gonna be it because I definitely have something to show Lessons after we're done this.
Okay.
So, yeah. For now, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?